give us access. But based on what I said yesterday, don't just click or just save or just start adding to the subscription list. Like I told the other people, if you add any subscription, and some of them are like £300, some of them are like £100 per month, I will send you the what's it called? I will send you the receipt with your name and everything, so you'll be the one responsible to pay for the license. Yeah, because some people did it in my last one, and I thank God I saw it early. I had to disable it, and I just sent them a screenshot. Like, if I didn't cancel it early, you guys will be responsible. Like, both of them will be responsible for the payment of that subscription. So just to tell you, like, even at work, when they give you access, like I said yesterday, don't just go and add anything, pay for any license, because obviously it needs to be approved by maybe your line manager, the accountant, and like, like what I mean, change of request for whatever they want to do. So yeah. So we stopped at our log yesterday, and we'll be talking about this. You see all these terminologies, they are highly important, because even sometimes during interview or even recruiter might call you and tell you to explain what is a false positive and the like. So like you see, there's true positive, there's true negative, and there's false positive, and there's false negative. So like true positive means like, okay, maybe like there's a compromise of an account and it triggered an alert. Now, yeah, the incident is true and it is positive. Well, let's say there's another alert too. Now maybe an admin logged in from maybe like unfamiliar location, and it generated an alert of maybe like impossible travel. Yeah, that one too is true. Positive as well, but we can call that one benign true positive, because it is done by someone that you know. Though the activity is positive, but it's just a benign activity. So you might see them like use all these words like benign activity. It's just telling you like, okay, yeah, this is done by a user. Like, we can confirm it was done and it is legitimate, though the behavior looks suspicious. The other one is true negative, like correctly predicted negative result. So now, like, just as it is, like, okay, it is true, but it is negative, like it's a negative result. Then the other one, false positive, like, for example, incorrectly predicted. So maybe like another alert generated, and when you check the log, maybe you see like, okay, a user installed an application, or maybe someone within the organization installed, maybe they created a particular software. You get? So now, like, if they now install that software, now they did not sign that software. Based on that, when maybe the user installed the software, or anytime they use that software, like, it opens some files, like, now this is a behavioral activity. Defender is going to flag it because the application or software is not signed, or some of the file in the application or software, they are not signed. Now this is a behavioral activity that mimics maybe like something malicious, maybe like a ransomware and the like. So in that case, that's a case of false positive, because it's just behavioral, incorrectly predicted positive results. Then false negative, like incorrectly predicted negative result. Like, but on rare occasion is you will see false negative, but you see that false positive and true positive, like, you are going to see it like nearly every day. So like, you need to understand these terminologies. They are highly important, and I think we talked about this one, types of malware. You just need to understand them, and if you understand them, you will know how to, for example, how to remediate. Even sometimes, like you might even be the one like telling the service desk what to do when it even comes to maybe like some hardware. So you might tell them like, for example, if you see maybe like all these ads or advertisement on your laptop, or what you want to do is the first thing you want to ask that user is, when you see these particular ads, what browser are you using? Now, when you can identify the browser, the next thing you want to tell them is, can you please clear your cookie session and clear your cache? Now, this is going to delete everything from that particular browser. And if it is installed, then you have to look for it and find a way to delete it from their device, or scan their device as well. So, but these are just automated programs or scripts that they use to maybe like perform different tasks, maybe like attack your server, your admin page, and that one is common. So which sometimes can lead to DOS or DDoS. Then ransomware. That one is highly prevalent right now. Now, if you even Google, you see like we have what we call ransomware as a service. I mean, where is my? I'm not this. Mm, a minute, please. I'm looking for. Yeah. I don't know if we can see my screen. Reject. So, like you can see, ransomware as a service is a business model between ransomware operators and affiliates, in which they pay to launch ransom attack developed by the operator. So now, like you have a lot of things now, like they run as a service. Like, say you have like monthly subscription, and so now other someone can just contract, gives all these some of these operators like, you know what, I need you to attack this particular company. So even you have phishing as a service, which we are going to talk about too when it gets uh, to when we get to phishing as well. So that's why you just need to like do a whole lot of reading as well. So then we talked about rootkits. It's just like a legitimate maybe software uh, trying to act as, or a malicious software trying to act like as a legitimate one. So you see a lot of attackers use this, and they use it to like maybe compromise your device, and at the same time they want to keep persistence on that particular device. So spyware, just like the name, like just to spy on you, they install it and maybe capture your screen, what's it called, your keystrokes, or maybe like take screenshots or whatever you are doing on your device, and it's going to be sending it to a particular server out there. So imagine like you see maybe an activity on the device, you check the device timeline, and you see like, okay, a screenshot has been taken by a particular app, and it's going to maybe like a particular website or even particular IP. So that tells you like an attacker might just be taking screenshots on whatever you are doing on your device, and Trojan horse too. So like appears to be like a legitimate program, but yeah, they have like hidden malicious code. So virus and worm, like I said, virus, that one is interactive. Worm is non-interactive because this one is self-replicating. It doesn't need your interaction. It will spread. This one, it needs a container to even launch it, or needs what's it called? Maybe just for you to click, and it's going to start running. So now you just have to understand that worm is more deadly than virus. They can ask you during interview, like, do you need to explain uh, the difference between worms and virus? Which one do you think you can remediate easily? Obviously, that will be virus. And if worm should spread, maybe you might need to first isolate all the device first. So now, some people call it this one. Some people call this one onion security, like I said the other day, and it's just like you having multiple layers of defense. So for example, now let's say in your house, you have like all these attack dog, you have a security guard, you have a fence, defense, you have like electric barbed wire, you have motion detectors, you have face recognition camera, you have a motion sensor too, and what else? Maybe you have a automated floodlight that will come on if it should detect any movement. And what else do we have? Maybe you have like a pin or biometric as well before you can even access the open the door. So like imagine that's like defense in depth, multiple layers of security. So now we have the same thing to when it comes to security. That's defense in depth, where like now, like you see, like there's a perimeter, you have the firewall, you have your VPN and packet filters, like checking all the logs coming in into your environment. Now, the physical one, you have the logs, the fence, the security guards, then all the policies that I've been talking about, password policy, BYOD policy, like you say, yeah, data classification policy. Then at the same time, to the one that trumps everything is awareness, which we are talking about training. Because imagine like you have all the security tools in place, you have the policies in place, but yet there's no security training or maybe user awareness training for your user. So now, how will they spot or be able to recognize the red flags when they see maybe like phishing email, or maybe when they see someone just walking around your facility or the office, or maybe even if they see maybe someone plugged a Raspberry Pi connected it to your network somewhere. So like they need to understand and host, how do you protect these vulnerability scanning, patching, malware protection, whereby you have maybe like you might have what's it called? Uh maybe like multiple, like one antivirus and another EDR solution. And some people even they use like two EDRs. One is going to be in passive mode, then the other one will be in active mode. That's like defense in depth. Let me just give you an example. Like all of us are from Nigeria. So now imagine you have like a moped and you have like a police, or you have what's it called? A DSS, and you have maybe the people from the Navy, SBS, like having both of them securing your property. That's like multiple multiple layer of security. Then secure single sign-on authentication authorization that we've talked about. Then how do you protect your data? The database, you make sure it's secured with the content. And how do you protect the content? Now you will now be install maybe different applications to make sure like this is secured. Maybe like you have a FIM, all this file integrity monitoring tool, or label all the data in your database. So if anything should move like out of your estate, you want to know, you want to have that visibility. You can write even detection rules to, like, you know what, detect any malicious activity, any deviation from the baseline. This is what you want to this is why you want to put all some of these policies in place. And now all these policies, procedures, is what we call defense in depth. So now during interview, anybody can ask you like, okay, what is defense? What is defense? Yeah, what is defense in depth? So just imagine like an onion, multiple layers. So that's that when it comes to defense in depth. So let me close this. And yeah, so that's that. So we are done with the theory, but there are some of them that will still talk about. Like, okay, yesterday I said I wanted to talk about uh log analysis, or how do you read logs. So, and like I used to tell people, now you might not be able to do this mentally, but I'll just advise you for you to write this down, because logs can answer any critical question about any event you see. So the first thing, like imagine this is a log, just an example. Imagine like what you have in your screen is a log. Maybe an incident happened. So the first question you want to ask yourself is what happened? The next one is when did it happen? Where did it happen? On what resources, etc. Who is responsible for that event? Is it you? I mean, someone internal? Is it a third party? Is it a guest that we gave access? Or is it the red team? Or is it someone within the infrastructure? Or maybe is it people that maybe like you employ to act as an insider threat within your organization? Or is he an attacker? You want to know where, or let me put it this way, or was the action successful? You want to know, you want to validate that. Then what was the result of the action? These are the questions you want to ask yourself mentally. If you can answer all these questions like correctly, then obviously you won't have any issue at all when it comes to you reading logs and when it comes to you resolving alerts. Even aside that, understanding like different log types, format is critical and even practical when you are reading logs, because that will give you that insight or that advantage whereby you can interpret this log, and everything I've just been talking about is just going to you gaining insight from that data you are looking at. Forget everything I've been saying, where, what, were they successful and the likes. Everything boils down to you getting insight, gaining insight. And this is just going to help you or facilitate how you troubleshoot. And this is going to increase your performance when it comes to incident response and threat hunting. So you just have to understand this. And there are different types of what's it called, of log analysis. It might be a pattern. It might be like a trait, a trend. So maybe like you want to detect a regular system behavior. Maybe you want to identify a unsure activity by a particular user, which you think might be a security threat. That's pattern. For example, like maybe if you're in Lagos under breach of maybe Obalende, you know the pattern of all these boys that they want to steal your bag and run away. Then there's what we call anomaly detection. This one, you just focus on maybe identify the data point, like when there's a deviation from the expected pattern, then you know, like, you know what, this is an anomaly. I think I gave an example of like, say at work, let's say normally you use maybe like just 5 gig daily every day, and now there's a spike 10 gig suddenly. Obviously that's an anomaly. That's a deviation from your pattern. Then we have correlation. Like some might even tell you like what is log correlation. So you are correlating different logs entry. Maybe for example, you want to check my sign-in logs in the last 30 days, in the last 60 days. That's log correlating. You want to say, okay, yeah, have I signed in using this IP? Have I signed in from this location? Have I signed in maybe around this time? That's you doing log correlation. Then the other one is timeline analysis. We are going to see this too, I'll say hopefully next week. Timeline analysis is, for example, say maybe like you want to check every activity of the user, the trends, behaviors of what the user has been doing on his or her laptop. You want to monitor everything. So with this time analysis, you can even do a lot of maybe sports, even some of the events you've not seen before, just to understand how that device works, its role, what it does every day. Practically, I would say this enhanced performance monitoring when it comes to time analysis. And if you understand timeline analysis, you are just like, for example, just reading the logs. That's what you involve. Then now, like we're in the era of machine learning. So now we have machine learning and AI responsible for a lot of things. For example, you might see Z Fusion when it comes to Sentinel. It might just generate an alert. And this is going to enhance your log analysis techniques because it's going to classify them. It helps in enrichment of data. So yeah, sometimes even when you see the alert, you just have to jump on it and say, okay, what is going on here? Then there's another one we call static analysis, and there's dynamic, which we've talked about. So static is like you just analyzing the data you are seeing right in front of you. I would say more of quantitative insights. And the other one is dynamic, whereby you have to interact. I think the other time we talked about static and dynamic analysis when it comes to sandbox environment. So it is still the same thing. Though, don't worry, we'll talk about this status code as well. So, and this one is highly important too. Incident response. I'm looking for response in cybersecurity. Let me look for one image. So one is the NIST and the other one is the SANS. So let me just open this from Fortinet. So you have 6 steps when it comes to incident response, and you have to understand it. The first one, like you see, it says like preparation, obviously, like it says like the crucial stage whereby this is where you want to establish all the outlines, the roles, responsibilities, escalation procedures, and all these other predefined controls you see here. And if you see like there's training as well too on the list, like that's like user awareness training. So imagine like you see communication and everything, like some call it comms, like who do you contact if this should happen? Documentation. Okay, if this incident should happen, what steps should we follow? And now like you have the identification phase whereby you have to, for example, an incident happen, then maybe there's an alert, say my account has been breached. Now the first thing is you want to identify what happened. Now that you've identified, like, okay, there's a breach on my account, the next thing you want to do is how do I contain, or how do you want to contain my account? So now you've contained it. Now you do all your analysis, and after you're done with your analysis, you want to maybe like eradicate the threat. It might be, say, for example, maybe malware. Like, how do we eradicate it? My account that you've contained, now you've revoked my access. I don't have access anymore. So what do you have to do to eradicate all the threats? So now let's say it's more like an evil genius attack whereby they've captured my cookie section and everything. How do I eradicate all the accounts? Yeah, we've secured the account. So now, how do we eradicate it? Now we eradicate it. Let me see. Maybe I can use an example here and users. Okay. Now users. So now this is me, my account. What do you want to do? Now you want to contain my account. First thing you can do is you can just come here, edit, and disable this particular account. So now the attacker won't have access to the account. That's another way to contain. Another way might be click on reset password, or revoke section. So when you revoke section, it's going to break that cookie section they have. Now I will come to authentication methods. I will click revoke multi-factor authentication session as well. So now if this is related to Evogenix, it's going to break the chain of attack. Now we've contained it and doing eradication at the same time. Now we're going to recovery. Now recover the account. Give me access back to my account. Now everything is back to the normal. Then after that, what do we want to do? We still want to make sure maybe we monitor the account to see maybe there's any malicious login activity from the attacker, just to see like, okay, did the manage to gain their way back into the system? Then lessons learned, which is what happened. Then what can we learn from that activity? What is the root cause? So some people will call root cause RCA, root cause analysis. I'm telling you like, okay, have you done your due diligence investigation on how maybe my account was breached? Then how the problem was contained and eradicated. You write everything down, like, and the lessons learned from it. Maybe now on my account, there's nothing like MFA, or maybe it's a case of Evogenix. Now we need to put new policies in place to maybe like to lock out anybody's account or auto revoke the session anytime they click on any malicious link. So like that's that when it comes to what's it called? SANS. So this is like SANS incident response. That one is 6 steps. The other one is for NIST. They are similar, but sometimes some people might ask like, what steps do you follow if there's an incident? So and as you can see here, same preparation, and this one says detection and analysis, and the third phase is containment, eradication and recovery together. Then post-incident activity. Post-incident activity too is same thing as lessons learned. So now it's either you have to memorize, it's not even either, you have to memorize it too. Preparation, detection, analysis, and containment eradication. So this one is like 4, while the other one starts from preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and lessons learned. So which you have to understand this. So I will say like I can send us this link in the chat for both of them. So this one is for SANS, incident response. The other one is NIST, life cycle. So anybody can ask you, and it depends on what's it called, the one that you think you are comfortable with. And sometimes even when you are like explaining, or maybe like having conversation during your interview, even when you're explaining, I know like you are following these steps, even without you telling me. So now let me give you an example. Let me just give you a quick scenario. So let's say like, for instance, maybe I will receive the malicious email. Then he clicked on the email, which says you need to download a particular maybe software. So now when he downloaded the software, he installed it on the device. The software installed other malicious application on that device. Then while it was installing in the background, it ran different PowerShell command to like maybe make modification to the firewall rules on his device. Then at the same time make a lot of registry modification, which now the attacker is trying to keep persistence. Then at the end, I saw like an outbound communication to a particular IP. Now that's me doing the root cause analysis from the email to all this activity done. Then communication to the what's it called? Then I can see schedule task and maybe other things added to the auto run or startup. Like anytime you start your device, then obviously it's going to like run all this malicious activity again. Like, so that's the attacker trying to keep persistence. So in that case, it depends on the policy of your organization. Some might just delete all these file paths, and some their policies you have to reimage the device of our. So in that case, I will write my documentation or maybe my analysis chain of events of how it happened. Now, what do I need to do? Now there's a breach. A device has been compromised. So in that case, based on the policy of my own organization, now I can see a lot of PUP programs. What's it called? PUP means potential wanted programs. Then I can see some people call it PUA too, potential wanted application. So now I want to contain. So the first thing I want to do is now let's say our reports to Okafor. Okafor is our line manager. So the next thing I want to do is I will have to reach out to Okafor like at the same time, send communicate with our own teams like your device has been breached. We have to revoke your access and isolate your device. I will have to send the same thing to Okafor. Like a member of your team's device has been breached and we have to isolate the device. If there's any meeting, important meeting, it can be rescheduled or Okafor can join the meeting whereby you guys can go to maybe a conference room and join the meeting together and have the meeting with maybe the third party. So now why do I do that? No, imagine like say now our is like is maybe like one of the accountant or maybe like a service delivery manager whereby they want to onboard another client and onboarding that client alone is going to give the organization maybe like for example £1 million in revenue. Imagine if I should just isolate that device without even notifying anybody. That's a loss for the organization. And like I said, Bright Talk, the event, one webinar I attended one time, it says we need to treat cybersecurity as part of a business. So now, like all these things I'm saying, you can say them during your interview as well. So now you've reached out to the manager. The next thing is I'm going to isolate our house device, revoke session to your password, and log you out of all the accounts. Maybe we can only give you access to maybe your email that you can log in, disable your access onto everywhere you can log in, all the resources within the organization. Or we will disable everything. We can communicate with you through your personal email, WhatsApp, or directly on your mobile phone. So now we've contained the incident. Now, how do we eradicate it? In this case, we want to eradicate this by reimaging your device. So now the infrastructure team, they are going to reach out to you. Like, you know what, you are going to pick up your device tomorrow and we are going to reimage it. Within the next 2 days, you have your device back. Some organization might send you another device, temporary device, while they collect that one from you and return it back to you when it is being reimaged. So now that's eradication. And now recovery. The recovery is we've isolated your device, it has been reimaged. Now we need to give you access back to your device and they are going to send it to you. Or now the temporary one is recovery. Now we've secured the account and we'll give you another device for you to continue your day-to-day activity based on the level of access you have to perform your duty. So now after that one, you have to write everything that happened, how it was prevented, lessons learned, and different queries we put in place maybe to detect this in the future. If we cannot prevent it, then we need to accept the risk going on further and just find a way to just be proactive to monitor for any activity, and which we are talking about the post activity. So in that case too, we have to do user awareness training for our, like, you know what, anytime you see any email that you are not sure of or about, report the email as phishing or send a copy of the email to the security team, or just give them the what's it called, subject and the email address of the sender. We are going to pull every details out, then we check and get back to you if it is malicious or not. So like, imagine me explaining that way. I've covered both preparation, identification, identification, preparation, detection, identification, and the containment, eradication, and at the same time, recovery and lessons learned. So like all these things you've covered them, like say preparation, education, containment, eradication, recovery, and lessons learned. So all these they can ask you. It's not even they can ask you, even the moment you start talking, explaining how you resolve an incident or how you handle an incident. This is the framework you are using, from preparation to containment to eradication to recovery and to lessons learned. So is there any question about this? Any question? No one is talking. So should I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I searched for this one just before we started the training. So there's what we call status code. You need to understand this. They do ask during interview as well. So for example, you see 1xx, 2xx, 4x, there's 3x, there's 5xx. So now 1xx is the informational. Sometimes some people might ask you like, okay, tell me what's 100, what's 102, what's 200, which is common as well, and 302 and 304, they are common, or 400, and they expect you to tell them like what it means, or 500. So now, like when you say this is informational, anything 2xx is successful. 3xx means redirection, and 4xx means client error. So now, like say you are browsing now, you see, for example, uh, anything 400, 401, 402, 403, 404. That tells you like that's a client error. And this is coming from your side. Anytime you see anything 500, it's from the server. You don't have any power over that one. But you see the 400 is coming from you, like too many requests, conflict not acceptable, forbidden. Then when you see anything 2xx, obviously, you know, like, okay, 200 means, okay, the request was successful. Maybe there's a scenario, maybe an attacker, like they are trying to do SQL injection, or maybe you can see this through maybe like during maybe web reconnaissance attack. When you see 200 response, you know, like, okay, this is successful. Maybe when you see 201, means like, okay, resources was created. For example, maybe on API based kind of attack, where maybe like a malicious user's account, maybe a malicious user created maybe like a malicious account or unauthorized account. These are the things you want to look out for. So maybe you see, for example, I think another one is 204, which might be related to data exfiltration, where maybe an attacker run a malicious script to extract response without even you noticing or anything visible in the UI changes. So now there are different ways attacker can even use this as well. So when you see all this in a log, obviously you want to get familiar and understand what is going on when you see this. Or maybe you see maybe you're working on a particular maybe phishing alert, and you want to check maybe like a URL there, and the URL says error 302, like it has moved permanently. Sometimes attacker may manipulate redirection to other phishing sites, or maybe sometimes when you see not found, the site might be down. They might have taken the site down, or maybe like attacker can use sometimes redirect you to another site at the same time, leading to different malicious site. Like from one site to redirect you to another site. All these ones you see it sometimes when you are dealing with phishing, even when yourself you are browsing. So like all these, you just want to understand them. I've never seen anybody that asked about information which is 100. So this one, I know it might be there might be some attack related as well, but I'm not too sure. I'm not familiar unless I do maybe research on it. But this one, you see it when it comes to maybe like server, maybe when server receive maybe a particular information, or maybe it's telling you, okay, a client should proceed with the request. So that's when you see 100, which is like, you know what, continue. Then 101 is switching protocol. Maybe the server agrees to switch protocol, maybe from HTTP to, for example, WebSocket. So you are going to see this. So you remember I talked about downgrade attack. So attacker can downgrade this particular website to HTTP. You know, like the other day I showed, like you can see like, okay, this padlock sign means like, okay, yeah, this is secured. Sometimes attacker can downgrade this website, and when they downgrade it, that means, imagine now, let's say there's a payment gateway whereby you input your card and credit card details and the likes. That means if they downgrade it to HTTP, they can see anything you do on this website in plain text. So that's why sometimes you have to understand some of these codes and terminologies you see here. So okay, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff. Now, like I will send this one to the teams as well, whereby we can copy and is there any other question? So I would say this is highly important. Like we need to understand all the status code, especially when you are dealing with different logs, injection, connection on firewall. Like it's highly important. So uh, then we talked about identity access management. Let me just show us one here quickly at maybe a resource level or maybe a subscription level. And let me see. Let me see. Yeah. So now, if you type resource group, like say this is resource group. Now this is subscription. Then this is a resource. This resource is attached to this subscription. So for you to have a resource group, a subscription there must be an existing subscription, or you have to create one. So now the first sub we have here is Azure subscription, and it's been stored, everything in this Azure is being stored in this location, East US. Then now the resource group is this. So you remember I talked about identity access management. Now this is IAM here. Now I want to give maybe different people access. And let me refresh. Yeah. So now this is Azure portal, the one you talked about. Okay. So now like you have different roles here, but now I want to give people access to this particular resource. Now, for you to have access to Sentinel, you must be added to this resource here. This is where we control everything, which is identity access management. This is at the resource level. So now like I can say say check a user's access. So you remember I said like you need to do periodical, like maybe check people's level of access. This is how you check and see the kind of level of access. Maybe we need to take some away. If you see this one says inherited, this resource as an owner, this one as a contributor as well. So now you have different roles assignment. There are different ways that you can use to assign role. You can add it directly to the user, and you can add it to a group. So now this is a group. the XDR. Yeah, this is a group. So now let me show you the group. And so now I created the groups, that group rather, XDR, and I added people to the group. So now let's say I want to give you access to Sentinel. The only thing I need to do is add you as a member of this particular group. Come to members and I will add you as a member when I provision our account. So I'll add you as a member. So now when I add you as a member, I've added you to the group. So the moment I had this particular group, XDR, at under identity access control, now you have access to the role based on you being a member of this group. And now the role is Microsoft Sentinel contributor. So now I can add different roles to this group. So the moment I add you to this, you are going to inherit the properties of this particular XDR. So let's see if I go to groups. So this is XDR. Then you can see maybe assign role. You see now security admin and security operator. This will give you access to defender for endpoint. The moment I add you, become a member of this group. So now let's say I don't want you to have access to Sentinel anymore. All I just have to do is come here, delete your name, then you won't have access anymore. So that's been like doing the provisioning of accounts. And let me go back. So where's the Sentinel? Yeah. So now you have different roles. You see a lot of roles that you can give at this level. So now this is how you manage someone's access. You can assign different roles. So that's me doing, I can deny what's it called, assignments. Then classic administrator you have, I can search and add. So like different things, I can add role assignments. It might be custom. So like some roles are job function roles. So I can give you a reader. I can give you like, if you see, like maybe like Agile AI project manager, that's your role within the organization, or you're a developer, I will give you this. Maybe to give you access to different VMs, I will give you access to this. So like you see, you have a lot like here, different roles. Then some might be like privileged roles. You see, you have like 5 of them, which is contributor, and all these ones here. I'll just review and assign. So that's under at resource level. So let's go back a bit, one step further. So at sub level, I can decide to give you access to here. So you see roles assignment. But here I don't need to give anybody because there's nothing you want to do with the subscription. You are not adding, you cannot create. So that's why like if you join another organization, they won't give you like access to this level. You can go there maybe because there you can see based on your role, but maybe give you global reader, you can see everything, but you cannot make any modification. If you remember, I talked about code, which is create, read, update, and delete. So they can only give you sometimes R to just view some of these. So, and you have like different roles, like I said too. So now you see like everything we've talked about when it comes to identity access management. That's just everything under maybe 5 minutes. I'll break it down under 5 minutes. And you have Palm too, but me, I don't have Palm here, but I can decide to just deploy a keyboard for you to play with, and you can see like, okay, how you store your keys and everything. So in most cases, you even see developers using that one, but you as a security analyst just have to understand some of these when maybe generate an alert. So yeah, so I'll say like when you get your access, just play around with all everything you have here, but when you're playing around, don't just click on save. So that's it. Then Which other one? How did they talk about? I would like to show us. Yeah, okay. Now this is Sentinel. So I just created this one this morning. So there's no log in it here at the moment. So like now this is Sentinel. This is the interface, Microsoft Sentinel. You know, like if you remember, I said they are moving this into the XDR. So when you get your access and you click on maybe some of them here, you see it's telling you like go to Defender portal because they've moved it. Notebooks, you see, entity behavior, threat intelligence, meta attack preview. Before you click, you see it there, but they've moved it SOC optimization. You remember the one I showed us yesterday, it was there because this one is a new one and they are moving any they are moving like if you just create what's it called your account now, they are moving they've moved everything rather into what's it called into Defender for endpoint. But if you have created your account, maybe it's an old account, and so you will still have access. But now they moved everything into Defender for endpoint. So I would say nearly everything. Then the content of you have it here. Then repository, like you still have it here. Community, they've moved that. Workspace manager, which is under like preview. So sometimes before they deploy something, they will allow you to view it like preview, whereby you can't really do anything, but you can just see preview. Like then obviously the data connectors. This is highly important. You have to understand it. They might not be your job like to do all these data connectors, but as a security engineer, like you'll be the one doing all this setup, or even sometimes some level 3, yeah, you do it. Then sometimes in some organizations they might allow level 2 to do it. So you just have to understand, like, okay, now we've created a deploy defender for endpoint. Now we want to see all the logs in Sentinel in our SIM tool. So now what do we do? They might just want to ask you. You can tell them you've not done it before, but you understand the process, what it entails. So what did I do? I've connected it, and you can see the green ones. They are connected. So which tells you, like, you know what, logs from Microsoft Entra and pulling them into Sentinel, from Defender XDR and pulling them in. So what I have to do is, like, imagine there's a connector, like a plug. I have to plug both of them together to grab the log from Defender for endpoint and ingest them into log analytics for Sentinel. So now, if I don't turn all these things on, I won't have visibility to all the logs in Sentinel. I won't be able to pull them out. So now you have the analytics. They've moved it. That's where you create rules and the like. So you see them later as well. Then they've moved this. You remember I talked about watch list. Now this is where they create watch list. Then automation, they've moved settings to. So this is just about, like, okay, the data usage that we've used ingested, because I created this morning, like just maybe like 2 hours ago or so. So now you can see the data usage and the cost and everything associated with it. If you are using 296 per day. So like for an organization, like they can afford that one easily. But based on pay as you go, is $4 and days per gig ingested. So, and coming to, this is what I want to show us here. Coming, okay. Yeah. So now you come to general before you see overview of the incident and whatnot. But now they've they've moved it to what's it called? To XDR. So now, like, but this one is still here where you can write KQL queries for Sentinel. So if you want to write KQL, this is where you come to logs and you start searching. So for example, now, like I don't know if the logger are here, right? So I can do search for, what do I still remember? I want to check the tables. I think that's correct. Yeah, because I just created it. No, it's not giving me any logs at the moment. So for example, I want to check sign-in logs. Yeah, it might take time for some of the connectors to pull all the data. So this is where you start writing your KQL queries, and from there you can. I'll still teach us this. I'm just running through this. I can put get schema. Remember I talked about get schema. So it's going to give me every schema under sign-in logs. Yeah. So now these are the schemas. So if you want to comment out, let me comment this out. Yeah. Let me click on run. So it didn't give me anything. So but get schema. So now like eventually, if all the logs are being ingested in this environment, these are the place where data are stored under sign-in logs. You have the tenant ID, you have the source system, time generated, resource ID, operation name, and categories, and like you have a lot. Like I think you have like 92 schemas here. So if you want to write your query, this how you can build your query. You don't have to cram. Just understand the schema here and understand the tables in your environment. So for example, say I want to look for sign-in logs of maybe like a user. So where, for example, okay, I'm looking for, or maybe where identity, it's not picking it up. I can add it. Uh, where column is this? Time generated. Hang on a moment. I'm looking for the one with the user. So if all the logs are in, it's going to, the moment I type, it's going to give me option of either user display name, user agent, user ID, user principal name. But the one I want to use is this. So you can create your query even like this. So I'm just teaching you like how you can write your query without cramming. So now colon name where user display name, or I can put where user display name. Again, I can do where user display name equals means like, okay, that particular username. For example, let's say follow dot fashioner at fabsecurity.com. So now why am I telling the KQL? Like, you know what? Give me the sign-in logs of this user where user display name equals this. Or you can use contain. Then I can now come down and say, you know what? Project. I can now use anything here. Maybe for example, device device details. Device details. I can type it. I can type user ID, comma. Then I can put maybe risk detail, MFA detail, anyone like I can use to the things I want to see. So it's going to put them in columns like this. Like so this is just like a test. So when I have all the logs and everything is ready, you will see like the beauty of KQL, how you can use it to structure your own query and pull out logs, and at the same time, you can use it to do your own threat hunting as well. So, and now this is a Defender for Endpoint, which is EDR, extended or Endpoint Detection and Response, or XDR, which is extended detection and response. So now you have what's it called? Uh, you're going to have access to wherever you can do whatever you want to do. So now just get familiar. When you have your access, the first thing you want to do is click all these one by one and get familiar, because you want to understand the GUI, even know what is here. Because for example, if you're working and they tell you to do something, like you need to familiarize yourself with that environment. Like imagine it's an estate and you are the one in charge of the security. What will you do? You have to walk around, understand the environment. So now, like, for example, say good afternoon, of how protected is the organization and whatnot. So it give you this visibility. Now the data is still empty. Then you click on then clicked on overview, then there's attack surface. It's going to give you the map of everything within your environment. You have attack path, it's going to give you visibility over that one. So like you see Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Identity, Vulnerability Management, and Cloud. You can click on them and it's going to take you there. Then you have Exposure Insight, which talks about different initiatives, and you just want to understand it. Like if you hear them talking about benchmark, CIS benchmark, now you have them here. Business email compromise. You want to click and understand some of these things here. So now there's no data at the moment because we have not ingested a lot and I've not created our account at the same time too. So like I would say like you can improve your skill set by doing this. And like the way I always say, when I give you your what's it called, give you access, create a group, identify who you think you can work with, set up maybe meetings on your teams, because you're going to have access to teams and you're going to have access to email. But I've not put the policy, the email policies in place whereby you cannot send email out of the organization, because at the same time, like I always say, don't use this to start doing reference for anybody, because if you do any reference for anybody, you'll be responsible for anything that happen, and anything you do on your email can be tracked. This is just like everything you see, any email you send out, I can down, even if you delete it from the inbox, I can still download it from the email exchange and even send it to you. Like, why did you do this? So you having access to this is just to give you that enterprise feel, that enterprise environment whereby you can log in into your device as well. Then I will even teach us how you can decide to even onboard your device, whereby you want to even understand your own device timeline. You can use it to monitor your device for the next 2 months. And when you know, like 2 months before you lose access, you can offboard your device. I will teach you how to do that one as well. So you have different metrics. So you see like a lot recommendations, how maybe these are the things you would do at work. Maybe as a level 2, you will come here and do something. So like you see, like it says deploy a log connector to discover shadow IT activity. Uh, None in the last 90 days. So it is low, not compliant. What do we have to do? Click on it and check the recommendations. Like if it's what you think you can do, then tell me, we work on it together. Or you can go on YouTube, put this online and see how to do that. Says missing practice for monitoring what cloud apps and prevent reduce business damage, blah blah from breach. So now you see like we have a lot here, like okay, sign out inactive user in SharePoint online. Like now, or start your Defender for Identity deployment. Maybe we've not done that, then obviously um is what you think you can do. Just like the way I said to the last set as well, you can jump on it. And so then events, like you remember we talked about different events. So, and you see this one, secure score. You have to understand secure score too, because this is just like telling you how secure your organization is. or how secure your infrastructure is, your security posture. This is going to tell you. So if there's a deviation, if there's a spike, or maybe like there's a vulnerability, and okay, this affected your secure score. Imagine maybe say your secure score went down from 60 to maybe like say 55. Your manager can ask you a question like, what do you think happened? Can you please jump on the secure score and go and do your analysis and see what happened? Then you have to come to the history. You have to start checking, okay, what happened? Because very soon you're going to see a graph here. So now if there's a dip, you have to explain. You say, okay, yeah, this one was like -1, -2, +6, and everything you have to explain and analyze and give a report on that one. So now if you say here, because we don't have any data right now, it's saying your score is what, 0, and organization of similar size, 48. So that tells like even organization like this out there with limited amount of people, their secure score is poor at 48. That's not even up to 50%. And it's going to tell you what to do. So imagine it says start your defender for identity. It's going to have 62% impact. That means this secure score here is going to go up by 62%. Or deploy this or sign out inactive users in this and everything. You see like 12.5. And imagine, let's say this one was one that caused a dip. And say we were at maybe 73 before, and because of this, it went down to maybe like -62. You have to investigate and see how you can fix that. So you have to understand secure score. And like I always say, like, I would like you to copy this secure score, Microsoft, put it on YouTube and learn more. Know how you can use it. Sometimes your manager can tell you, like, you know what, can you quickly grab me the screenshot of the secure score? I need to update it. Maybe on our maybe monthly report, send it to the CEO or send it to the executive for them to see. This is what they are telling you. So if you don't get familiar with this tool and they now tell you like, you know what, jump on that particular secure score, you now start looking and searching for it. So now you have the data connectors, like you see, says like 2 data connected, which I've connected out of 12. And this, I've not done this, I've not done this, I've not done this, I've not done this, and I've not done this one. So now external connectors, say you have a service, now you have Qualys, Qualys, which is for for vulnerability management. You have another one for Rapid7. You have Tenable as well. So you can, so now let's say we have Tenable. Now I can connect from here. I don't know. I will see if I have that time, extra time, to maybe see if I can deploy Tenable and see how we can utilize this as well. For me to utilize this, for me to do this, that means like I will need your own assistance as well, like to use your own device to as a use case whereby you might have to add your device and see how we can scan it, and or maybe you can provision different servers and see how we can use Tenable to scan everything. Yeah, then under investigation and response, you have incident that you have here. Then you have alert. So if you remember, we talked about incidents and alerts yesterday as well. So now you can see, and you have email events, email collaboration alerts as well. So then hunting, this is where you do advanced hunting as well. So when you have access, I would say just come here and try and play with everything here. Here too is KQL in Defender for Endpoint. But very soon, like I said, they are moving even Sentinel into our Defender, which you see there's a space for it already. So this is where you put your KQL, and for example, if you double click on this and you run it, now identity info of these users you have here. And you can see like you have different information here. So for example, say I want to understand the schema. I can run this, you see. Now, if I understand this schema, I can use this to write query under identity.info. So now, for example, where so if I type account VPN, follow, then I can tell it to project uh, let's see, project city, project email address. Example. So let me comment out. Let's see. Yes, now you see, give me city, give me this. Then I can, because I use where account UPN as follow, I can use content. It's going to give me the details. So I can structure my query based on the content or the details I have in the schema. So you see, account display name. I can put, is there anything U? Is there anything E? Okay. Email address. Is there anything B? Okay. Account domain or account object ID. I'm just showing you this. So now you see, this project will give you everything in here. So if I want to even search for, say, for example, let's search. I can be search for follow, for example. If I allow this and just search, I'm searching for all the tables where I have follow. Now in the last 7 days, see, it gave me this under identity. Now I can see the table. So I know like, okay, all this information here, they are stored inside this place. So, and let me clean this up. So for example, do we have anything under alert? We don't have anything under alert at the moment. So it won't give us, it will be empty. So when we ingest a lot of logs, so, and if you want to have say different functions and queries, you have different queries that you have here, like from Microsoft as well. You can come here and click it. See, it's going to give you that query, then you can run it. So different one for lateral movement for persistence. And you can decide to even save your own query as what my queries, or you can share the query. So let's say like you want everybody to see your query, then you just write the query, then the name of the query, you write it there, you save the query. So if you write the query yourself too, you can save the query, then sometimes you can even turn the query to detection rule. So, and this detection rule as well. So if you add any detection rule, then obviously when you save it, it's going to pop up here. Or under detection rules, you are going to see it here. So that's when it comes to detection rule. So Then action and submission. I showed us this yesterday. So play around with these two. I'm just trying to explain them one by one. Then you have a lot you can see here from text, Teams message, email attachment, URL, user reported, and you have the catalog. You can just read through that one. Then the threat intelligence, which is the TI. So now you want to check everything here and see. It says exposure level. You guys are not exposed to anything. There are no vulnerable device and whatnot. So if you click on it, then you can learn about these uh vulnerabilities and threats. Here you see like actor profile. Like click on it. You want to understand what do you think they do. You see like they have a lot ransomware. Okay, yeah, alert. If there's any alert, active alert within your environment is going to show. Then you want to click on it and see, learn. So Intel management, you have these two. So sometimes might even not come here. Depends on your level. But me, I work on this within my organization based on my level. It's part of my activity to monitor like how exposed we are to different threats out there and assets. So now when you have assets within the organization, every asset is going to be here. Every managed asset is going to be here. Then you have for applications. So yeah. You remember I talked about anything SaaS app. You remember I was talking about OAuth authentication. This is it. Any app that use this kind of application or authentication, they want to see it and monitor the activity. So I can turn on, like for example, app governance. So this is going to give me like all these exclude entities, anonymizations, delete data, and Edge for business protection. So for example, you can use this to protect our Edge browser. Here I say do not enforce. So now here, if you onboard your device onto this EDR and I click on some of these, make some modification here and say, okay, all device, or if I put on managed device. So if any unmanaged device should connect to this environment, or we should onboard it, then obviously let this be effective, have effect rather on the device. The moment I click save. So now like I can monitor when you now go to maybe like the properties, yeah, then you are going to see like this managed by organization. That tells you like this edge is being managed by an organization. Do you get? So you see that. So if you start working to you see this like every browser, every app is being managed by the organization, then uh Sentinel. Yeah. So you can see I didn't connect it here, but if I do the connection, then obviously you have like some access, but I would like you to have a feel of it in Azure portal whereby you can go and write your query, because if you start working, that's how you are going to have access. So, and the endpoint, which is under vulnerability management. So now you have the dashboard, recommendations, remediation. When you onboard like 2 or 3 devices, then you will see what I'm talking about. Even you can onboard your device, like I said, for you to understand some of these things, and it's going to help you anyways. So if you do, I think the choice is yours as well. Device configuration, you don't have any business here, but you can just play around just to understand what is going on. Firewall Windows policy, NGP Windows policy. Then you see this one is highly important. Get familiar with this 2000%, no jokes. So overview, like anything email, phishing and whatnot, this is where you do your investigation. Explorer, when you want to search for email within your organization, like you can see, it says one email was blocked here. So now like here you can see different email came in. See like says kingalalay at fabsecureIT.com. So like you can see different email. So imagine like someone reported this email as phishing and you want to do investigation. The only thing I will give you is if I send you the username or the receiver's email and the subject, you can use that to pull out information from Explorer. If I give you just this alone, so let me duplicate this and show you. I'm just walking through the tool so you understand how it's being used. So now let's say your manager gave you this particular sender's email address and maybe the subject, like, you know what, I need you to go and look for that email. Someone reported it as being malicious. Yeah, it was blocked here. So now what I have to do is I will come here. I will come to sender's domain. Then I will modify the dates. Then next thing I'll do is I'll put this one here. That's the sender's email address. Then I will click on refresh. I use senders. It should be sender's address, sorry. And I'll click on refresh. You see, it gave me every email that was sent by this particular sender. But let's imagine you have like 1,000 email and I want to narrow it down to this particular one. In that case, I can use the subject to narrow it down, or I can use the recipient. Like, okay, you know what? From this sender's email, then it went to this particular recipient, which is this. So now you see like how you can narrow down with Explorer. Then it's going to give you that particular email. And when you now open the email itself, now you have more details. Now you can see the dictation details. Delivery failed. Delivery action was blocked. So now like that means like it didn't deliver into this user's email. So now like let me now break this one down. So why do you think this one failed? So let's say I want to, for example, I want to triage this alert. Let's say it triggered an alert and they gave it to me. Like, you know what? For Lucia, you need to like investigate this alert. We received this email, but we needed to investigate. So now the first thing I will do is, yeah, I've seen the email like this. Why did it fail? The first thing I want to do is, let me even go and confirm and validate. Do we have this user in our environment? Now I will come here. You can paste here. Did we see anything here? No. So if I come here and type Folu, did you see? Now I have Folusha in the environment. So if you want to be sure, type on user, then say you have like close to 3,000 people in your organization or 500. You won't see it immediately. Copy, paste, and search. Now, Bengawalalaye does not exist in this tenant because he's an old student. That means he registered, he used his email to register. And now, email being sent from Enron is eating our exchange, but it was blocked because this account, this email box does not exist anymore in this organization. So what do you think I will close this one as? I will close this as benign true positive because yeah, it is true positive, but it is a benign activity. That means my investigation is done. I've performed my activity. So now like everything you see here is activity, email being received by everybody presently in this organization. If you want to track URL clicks, this is how you track everything as well. So you see how we can track any activity from sender's email, content URL click, campaigns, and phishing activity. Then you have the review. So review is where you have the action center, malware trends, email that's been quarantined and whatnot. That's why you do it. Then the campaigns, you have this one here too as well. Then threat tracker, just like the name, tracking, tracked queries, trending campaigns. Like all these ones are new to when it comes to Microsoft. So now Exchange email trace. Now they might not give you level of access for you to have access to Exchange because this is where you make a lot of modifications and a lot of policies when it comes to uh, email. So now, like, say, okay, they are looking for an email. Say, like, you delete an email. This is where I will come and search for that particular email and download it and send it to your line manager and everything. So they might not give you access as a level one, but the thing is just have a feel, just understand the things we can do with Microsoft Exchange. This is the brain box of anything you do, email, and where all the email rules, mail flows the setup have been done. So this is why I did a setup configuration this morning. So that's more like work of like a security engineer as well. So I'm just showing just for you to understand the kind of access you have. Then this one I will create it into group, and if you think you can do it by on yourself, I will say like just go and watch on attack simulation how to do phishing simulation. So these are some of the things you put on your CV. For example, you conduct phishing simulation, you target different groups or different departments within your organization to test their effectiveness. Now, this is how you do user awareness training when it comes to phishing simulation. You want to see the activity or the reaction of the users, and you launch the simulation, you target them. Like now, this is one of my child projects in one of my organizations I worked with, whereby I was one who created the template and how phishing simulation is being done within the organization end to end. And at the same time, like I have to involve maybe their manager, HR, and uh, even their managers, line manager. You have to carry everybody along because now they want to see, for example, HR department, like they receive a lot of emails and they want to know, like, okay, do they know how to spot malicious phishing? Imagine if they don't know how to spot malicious phishing. That means like, okay, they can get compromised easily. So now after the phishing simulation, you want to check, okay, did the user, like, for example, click on the link, it's going to give us all the details and everything. You can send it to the executive level for them to see. In some organization, as a security analyst, if you click on like a real phishing email 3 times and you get compromised, you are going to be sacked. So just for you to know that I've worked in an environment like that. If you click on phishing link 3 times as a security analyst, then obviously it might cost you your job because you are the one responsible for protecting the organization. Just imagine like you as a security guy, you allowed breach to happen 3 times. What do you think will happen? Or to armed robbers to gain access to our next state 3 times, maybe deliberately by opening the door for them or the gates. Why should we keep you? So now policies. Remember we talked about different policies, and so now this is it. And where you have different policies, whereby anti-phishing, anti-spam, anti-malware. Like, see, this one is big. If you can break this one down and even explain like some of the projects you've been on during interview, then obviously it's going to help you. You remember I said like, okay, maybe my organization, they are paying a lot of money to get this done, like 13K is what I can do easily as well. So you will have a feel of this, see how this is being done, all these policies. And like I say, you have 2 months for you to like master a lot here. Just go to, for example, YouTube, copy anti-spam policy, watch a video. It won't be more than 10, 20, 30 minutes. Watch it and check what you have here. You can even tell me like, okay, you want to create a policy. Create it, then we can delete it later. Name your policy. Go online, see how they create the policy and tell me what you think the policy can do. These are the things you want to talk about. And let me tell you something. If you don't do it, you can't explain. What you don't do, you won't be able to explain it when it comes to security. But when you start playing around with this particular 2 different policies, eventually, when you now see someone even talking about the policy online, you'll be able to take ownership of it, like tell them like, okay, as if you are the one that performed that activity. So don't just drop these things like maybe after today you log in, maybe like for example, every 7 days and whatnot. And let me tell you this, I'm very mean when it comes to this. I track, last one I had like 40 people. I track everybody's activity. I track if you're logging into your Sentinel. I track if you're logging into your Defender. I want to see every activity, everything you interact with, because imagine you don't interact with this. And now 4 months from now, or 3 months from now, you are calling me like for this. I swear to God, I will not answer you. I have like close to 20 people. I'm not even picking their calls because during the training, they didn't even sign in for like a month. Now you have like 3 days to interview and now calling me. How do you want me to prepare you for that particular interview? I won't. So you have to log in, you have to play with everything here. Like I'm taking my time just to explain, just for you to understand everything you have here. So get familiar, anti-spam policy inbound. Click on it. Go to YouTube. You see a lot, you even see a lot of these Indians, like they will break this down into pieces for you and you understand everything here. Now that's threat policy. Now you have safe links, you have safe attachments, anti-malware, anti-phishing. You see these policies, play with it, understand it. Now, rules, policy, and rules. How do you secure environment within IT space? Policies and rules. You have different type of rules. It might be detection rule, it might be a rule like this so that you have to put in place. So now this one is tenant allowed block list. So now let's say someone has been sending us malicious email and now during your interview you want to tell them, okay, sender sent an email to your organization, maybe 1,000 email, and you want to block the address of the particular sender. This is where you come. This is where you paste. For example, say I want to block Benga Olaleye now at Fab Secure from sending email to this particular organization. Imagine this is just a random what was it called? Let me even make some modification to it. So you say fabset.com and I want to block this. Now this is a malicious sender. We don't want the user to send compromising email to our organization anymore. I come to never expire. I can put the ticket number, maybe it's INC 77070. So anybody that wants to work on this, we see the ticket, copy the ticket number, I go and check the reason why I blocked this particular. Then the moment I add, bam. Okay. What do you see? It's going to show you the name blocked up to malware, modified by who, the date, and everything, never expire. Note, you can decide to write a note and you can decide to put the ticket number. Now, like you've blocked this particular sender. And if it is the old domain you want to block, you don't want anybody from this organization to send email to. The same way you block. If you want to allow, you allow, you whitelist. If you remember whitelisting, where we talk about whitelisting, this is an example. You can allow that same user or another user or a particular domain. This is where you do it too. Now, spoofed sender, you can add it here. Like you paste, you block. URL, you come here, you block file hash value. You remember we talked about, then you put it here. You block it. You remember the hash we were talking about, SHA-252, SHA-256, SHA-512, MD5. This is where you come. Then you make modifications here. Never expire. And if you want to block temporary, really specific dates, you put it here. So you see, like, imagine you don't interact with this. How will you be able to explain? Like, you can't, because they will tell you, like, okay, walk me through how you will get to tenant allow and block list. If I want to block an IP, this is where you block the IP. For example, I talked about a scenario whereby there's a C2 communication to a particular IP. This is where you come to block the IP. I'll show you another place to later where you can go and block the IP as well. So now, like you see, different things you can do: advanced delivery, email authentication, enhanced filtering. Like quarantine policy. So now you see, like in some organizations, like I don't know, some of you that are working, you have your job. Sometimes if you receive an email, it's going to tell you, like, you know what, this email has been quarantined, but you can go to you can release it. But now in a sane environment, I will not just give any random user access to release a quarantine email. So now we can set a policy, like, you know what, if you need that email, what do you have to do? Reach out to the security team before you get access. You can modify, you can create, you can do a lot here. You can add a custom policy, name it and create one. These are the things you can go on YouTube, put quarantine policy and check how do we implement this? How do we put this in place? These are the kind of projects you can write on your CV, like some of the things you've been involved, like project. It's a project. It might take you maybe like 1 month, 2 months for you to complete this, or 2 weeks as a project, because you have to raise a change for request before you make modification here. And these are some of the things I will tell us to write at some point, which I will give you to write. And like me, I always say, like, try your best to like make sure you write some of these things, because eventually it's going to help you, like really, 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 when you are the interview. These are the things you can talk about, like I don't know, like the last one, you can see some of them: policy, group one assignment, password management policy, like submitted by uh, different students. So uh, like I say, just make sure like you get your hands dirty. That's the word. Like during interview, you can tell them, like, I like to get my hands dirty. This is you getting your hands dirty, getting familiar with some of this advanced delivery. You want to understand phishing simulation, SecOps mailbox. You can decide, say, okay, you know what, let us create a SecOps mailbox, a shared mailbox, and uh, give you access to that. So that one can even give it within the organization. If you have anything going on, send an email. It's a dedicated email for, what's it called? I'm seeing it for the first time too in Defender. I don't know, like they just created this too. So or maybe it has been there and I didn't see it. So yeah. So if you play around, you see, like even me too, I'm learning, like the way I'm just playing around, because you can't know everything. So that's that when it comes to email collaboration. And I think next week we will continue from cloud apps. So what I would like us to do, please, if you can do it, so I can provision your account and give you access by next week. So give me your name, just send it to me, send it to the WhatsApp group, like in this format. Just send follow Fashino or the name of your choice that you want to use. But me, like I always say, I will say use your name, because starting from next week, we are all going to be logging into the teams using this. And if anybody is trying to log in using anything out of this domain, you won't get access. You won't be able to log in. And if you log in through this, you will have access to view the video on SharePoint. That means I won't be sending out the video out anymore. Then 2 months from now, then everything is going to expire, because here now I've created a SharePoint where all these are being stored. So let me see, show you how it's going to look like. Okay, a moment. Got it. So now, like at the end of each meeting or training, if you go into the chat, you will see the video like this. All you just have to do is you click on it, then you'll play the video from there. So just kindly send your name to the group, like maybe like Felicia or Fashino, like Adam Lola Farmer, for like the way I provision the account. So now provisioning of account, let me just show you. So this is how you create an account. They might not tell you to do this one, but you just want to understand how it's being created. So this is where you put maybe the name. I want to create info at fabsecure.com. Then display name, I can decide to use info too. So now, next properties. This is where they will put your first name, user, member, and if you're a guest, they will create guest. Put your job title, company name, employee ID, employee type, hire dates, office location. They will add your manager. So now let's say the manager is, for example, this, then they will put it there. So street address, contact information, they won't put this, and like usage location, they can put it United Kingdom, blah, blah, blah. So now like that's how the provision. You see that provision we have been talking about since. This is how they create it, create your account. Now I'll move to assignments. Now they can decide to add you to a group. So I can add this particular user to this group. But in this case, this is not a privileged account. We are just opening an info at fabsecure.com whereby I can give anybody, I can give any HR, if you want to send any information to us, like, yeah, it's going to land here in here. So now, after this has been done, they will send this to your line manager. On the day you resume, you know what, give you this. Let's say this is Okwe's name. We will send it to his manager and the password. Then the manager will hand over the password to you, whereby you can log in. So now, what do I want to do next? I'll just click create and create the account. Do I need to? Very easy. Okay, let's give them that one. So send feedback. That's it. So now let's refresh and see. Now I've provisioned this account. So kindly send me your name so I can create. How was it called? If I want to revoke session the other time, like I said, this is where I'll click on revoke session. It's going to log the user out of. If I want to disable the accounts, I will come here. I will click this, then I'll click save. Now you see account what? Account disabled. If I want to enable it back, then I'll come here again and click this, and that is it. Now audit log that I was talking about. Now you have it here, it's empty. Signing logs is empty. Assigned rows, empty. Then all this, like, they will be empty. Yeah, so that's that when it comes to provisioning of accounts, creating accounts, and it's not limited to this alone. Like, I showed us like how you can add these accounts under IAM to maybe like Sentinel, maybe convert these accounts like owner to as well, whereby you have like elevated role. So I think we'll be stopping here today. Is there any question? I know there's a lot, but is there any question? Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to talk about the customers policy kind of that you talked about. If you can just elaborate on it a bit.
The policy here.
Yes, they
Okay.
customize the policy, customize one that you clicked on a tab that says customized.
Which one? Will I click on anti or create policy?
Yes, yes, I believe so.
So this one is anti-spam, like like spam, they are just like unwanted these things. So let me name this one test policy. Then domains include to exclude in this policy. Do I want to exclude any groups? I can domains. Like, let me click next. So let me include one. Include these users or group or domain. So now let me use fab secure. Fab secure. So now that's the domain. So inbound policy. So now if any spam is coming in, there's add X header prepare subject line with text, redirect message to email address, delete. I'll click on quarantine, then select the policy, admin only, high confidence spam. Then I can click, you know what, I can tell you to delete the message directly, but quarantine it so we want to have access to that particular message, admin only. Anything phishing, don't delete, quarantine, default access, full access, no, admin only. High confidence, I can say quarantine message, I will leave it at that. Then admin access, bulk company level, BC or met or exceeded. So imagine like sending message to you in bulk. I can tell it to move it to bulk folder. I can do no action. But what do you think I will go for? I will go for quarantine message. Then select policy. Okay, admin only. Intra-organization message to take action on. So I can do what, you know what? You can select none, or I can put it at default, which the default policy, they retain spam in quarantine for this many days. In most organizations, they set this to 30 days. So I can increase it to 30 days. So after 30 days, it's going to delete automatically. So now, enable spam safety tips, enable 0-hour auto purge. If you remember, I talked about this yesterday. Enable for phishing message, enable for spam message, then now this. So allow block list, senders that you want to allow. So always deliver a message from this domain. For example, say say for Amazon.com, for example, make sure like any message from this domain delivers into our organization. I will click done, then blocked. You can add any sender account. Yeah, so you get like these are you do the policy, then block domains, and you can add domains that you want to block here. XXX com, block domains, add domains. So done. Then so always deliver a message from this sender. You can let me add this. I don't know if James Fash at fab.com. So like you see like different things you can do. Maybe you have a third party or like a business with another organization, you can allow email from their domain to block, to come into your email, entire organizations, that was it called. And you have different things you can, modification you can. So now, different actions, then I'll click on create. No. So now I didn't save it. I'll just click on cancel. So yeah.
So that's
how you create policy. You have both inbound. Inbound means like inbound, something coming in to your organization. Outbound policy, like so anything going out of your organization, and maybe for example, a particular user, you don't want them to send email out, or you want to monitor whatever they do at different groups or domains, and that was how you, let me see, group. Say now I want to put XDR. That means I have to create a new group entirely for this. So domain, and maybe like allow.com example. I should include one condition, maybe because that's not a real domain. Yeah. So set an external message limit. I know like you would have seen this whereby they would tell you like, okay, so person exceeded sending limit. This is how they do the settings. So I can do this one to maybe like 20 or maybe like 30. Then set an internal limit. Maybe I can do like 30. So the moment you go above this limit, it's going to generate an alert or send a copy of suspicious outbound message to the users. So I can say now, let's say Ola, is there Ola? Like you type the full email address of anybody you want to, like maybe notify groups, and so you type it. I was expecting it to pop up, but from there, like you just let me unclick this. Forwarding rules. On forwarding rule is enabled, automatic control. So all these forwarding rules, there are another rules that you can create. Like you don't want people within the organization to just forward email anyhow. Maybe you don't want email to be forwarded from a particular account. You can, I think there's a way you can set up all this policy that you click on create, and you said I should complete organization setup. So I need to do this one first, but I'm not doing it at the moment. So now in this case, I'll just click on no, and now you can see the process on how you
Yeah.
can create a lot of these policies, anti-spam and
Yeah.
rules and different things. Like, you know, like safe link, safe attachment, anti-malware, like you can click on this and see this one is
Yeah.
using the built-in protector one by Microsoft. But I don't want to use this.
Yeah.
For me to disable this, I will first create another one like test, and let us see what we can do here too. And maybe domains. Let's use our domain, FabSecure. Now, so now you say will not be scanned. Monitor, deliver the message if malware is detected and track, block current, blah, blah, blah. Dynamic, like preview message, will deliver the message without attachment. Reattach files after scanning is complete. So depends on which one do you think based on the policy of your organization. So now let's say you want the message to be blocked and future messages are tampered with detected malware, or you want to do this and quarantine policy, admin access only, redirect message with detected attachments, enable redirect only support the monitor action. You can click this and send messages that contain monitor to like specific email address. So now let's say you have a SecOp email address, you can put it in here. It will go to that particular email address. Then from there, you can track the activity. Now, if I click submit, it's going to submit. So now anything. So now let's say you have like multiple domains within your organization. This is where you just come and add all these policies and everything. So if I click on submit, say I should complete this. I'm not doing this right now. So now you understand how to do some of this and create some of this policy. So now imagine you as a security engineer, you have your own company and you just want to set up even this one alone for just 3 months for an organization. You do everything end to end. That's cool, 13K or 10,000, depending on your negotiating skill. So just understand to do that is like now you are now working even as a security engineer, setting up some of these policies. Because
Mhm.
mainly as a security analyst, they might not give you access to set up some of these policies. So you have a lot that you can do. So I'll say we'll stop here on email collaboration, and next week we will continue from cloud apps. Then hopefully we have more logs by then to play with, whereby we'll be dissecting or talking about log analysis and how you analyze different incidents, malware with kits that you've talked about. You see all those persistence we'll be talking about as well. Even with the one that are like screenshots, where attacker is even trying to connect with RDP, like all these things you are going to see there. So by next week, maybe hopefully we should have more than 200 alerts that you can play with for the next 2 months. And obviously, if you can, if you put in effort and energy, and you can at least understand, like go close to 5 to 10 or 20 use cases and create different scenarios out of it, then obviously you'll be able to land a role. So we'll be stopping here today, and I will continue next week. So for the recording,